Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So last week I did 1 hour of selling to the West Ardoon general store and I made quite a bit of money doing it. Well, it has just come to my attention that there's actually another general store that buys things for a high out price that is not in the wilderness, and that is the Rogue's Den general store, or the Rogue's Den thieving store. If you go to Martin Thwaite's Lost and Found, he actually buys things for a high out price right off the bat. So that means we can go ahead and buy items directly from the Grand Exchange and sell them to his shop for a significant margin. Now, the types of items we're looking for are generally cheaper items with a large buy-in limit that normally wouldn't really be viable to high alch because of the cost involved with that. However, because there's no cost involved selling to this store, those items are actually profitable. So items like the rune arrow, rune javelin heads, watermelons, a lot of unstrung bows, a lot of the gold jewelry items, and I think even some new ones like the dragon throne axe. Now, the only problem with this method is it gets bottlenecked by other people doing it, because if there's already items in the store, the amount of GP you're going to get back is greatly reduced and probably won't be profitable. So you really need to find your own world. So having the total level worlds really helps out, because this method is heavily botted often, and the higher the restriction involved, the less bots are going to be involved with it, which is generally just going to be more profit overall. So we're initially doing this with 5 mil, however I actually go back later, withdraw another mil to buy a few more profitable items. The items we're going to be doing are the lantern lens, the maple log, the anti-fire 3, the maple longbow, the gold bar, the rune arrow, the gold ring, the gold necklace, the gold amulet U, the gold bracelet, dragonstone bolt tips, rune javelins, maple longbows, few short bows, dragonstone bolt, and gold amulet. However, after starting, I went back and bought a few items, and that was the amethyst javelin head and the rune javelin head, because I know that someone else was selling them, and they are actually quite profitable. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Alright, so we went over to Martin Thwaite's Lost and Found. It's in the Rogue's Den, so it's pretty easy to get to. You just use a games necklace to get to Berthorpe, go down into the bar, and we are pretty much there. So like I was mentioning earlier, Martin Thwaite does buy things for high alch price, which means we can make a pretty nice profit on all of these items, I think. I do have the price list at the side just to double check that they are going to be profitable, but first up here we have the lantern lenses, which I bought for 5 GP each. Last time I could sell about 10 before it wouldn't be profitable anymore. However, at the Rogue's Lost and Found, I can actually sell 20. Let's see if that works for other items. Maple logs, 48, 32, and 16. That's still profitable. Anti-fires at 158, we bought them for 71. We sell 10 of them. Sell 20, it goes down to 47. Okay, we can't quite sell 2 of those, so maybe we'll move that down to a different inventory slot. I think it might be a little more profitable just to sell 10 to each spot. Gold necklaces for 270, and they drop down to 180, and we bought them for 123. Gold amulet used we bought for 114 GP, and we can sell them for 210, which drops down to 140. Gold bracelets for 194, and if we sell 10, it goes down to 220. I think I'll just be selling 10 of each item. I think it's just a little simpler. Dragonstone bolt tips we'll buy for 400, and we bought them for 238 on the Grand Exchange. One of the more profitable items here, and it drops down to 266. Perfect. Rune javelins sells for 240. We bought rune javelins for 169. After selling 10, it drops down to 160. Still probably worth selling 10, perfect. Maple longbows, we bought for 241, and it drops down to 256. Dragonstone bolts we bought for 459. I don't know about this one, this might go too low. Nah, that's probably still fine. It's still mostly profitable. The gold amulet we bought for 114, and that's perfect. We bought the maple longbow U for 72, and it sells for 192. Drops down to 128, which is really not that bad. We bought the gold bar for 84. And it drops down to 120. Rune arrows we got for 91, and that drops down to 160. And last up here, the gold ring we got for 115 on the Grand Exchange, and after selling 10, it drops down to 140. So I think 10 is probably the optimal amount to sell, and everything seems to be profitable. Okay, so we're going to start off by hopping between all of these skill total worlds, because there's less likely to be another person there, or another bot, or anything like that. And then we'll move on to some of the other worlds and hop back whenever the world has finally gotten rid of all my items. Another item that I noticed was being sold to the store that is actually really profitable is the amethyst javelin head. We bought them for 700 GP on the Grand Exchange. If we sell 5 of them, we're still within the profitable range. Same thing for the rune javelin heads. We can sell them for 810, and we paid like 600 for them. These 2 items will only be able to sell 5 at a time, but that's okay. We did have to withdraw another 1,000,000 coins to afford it. So in total, we started with 6 mil coins, and we'll see what the profit looks like after 1 hour, or however long this takes to sell. Alright, we are done. Now, this took me quite a while to do. It should not have taken more than probably half an hour or 45 minutes, but any world that wasn't a total level world was pretty filled up with items. So while the store does buy things for a higher margin, you might be better off selling to that store as there's less competition, or even the Wilderness Bandit store, which should operate under the exact same rules and costs as Martin Thwaite's Lost and Found. So by far the most profitable items were the amethyst javelin tips, the rune javelin tips. Really anything that is more expensive would actually probably be better. So I think if I'm going to do this for a third time, the cheaper items are nice, but they tended to have a lot more already sold to the store, and you couldn't diversify as much with those cheaper items because there's only like 10 or 20 that would really work. And the fact that this store actually buys it at high alch price as opposed to like 95% of high alch price actually makes a really big difference. So I think you could actually push the cost of the items at this store as opposed to the OSRS store. So in total, this took me about 1 hour, 10 minutes, but I'm just gonna round it down to an hour because this could be done in about 40 minutes or an hour and a half or 1 hour. It can vary quite a bit depending on how busy it is. If I did this in the middle of the night, it would probably be better. So after 1 hour, we were left with 8.2 mil. And like I said at the beginning, we spent 6 mil on all of the items, which means we made 2.2 mil in an hour, which is extremely good considering the requirements for this are really low. To actually access the store, you need 50 agility and 50 thieving, or else he won't actually let you trade him. Or alternatively, you could get 99 thieving, but why would you do that? So that means with a fairly minimal requirement, you could make 2 mil an hour, plus or minus obviously, which really isn't that bad. Anyway guys, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any other ideas for 1 hour challenges that are kind of interesting or obscure, leave a comment down below. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.